Hello, welcome to the video. I'm going to be testing Helldivers 2 on my 4090, and I'm going to be doing it at 8K, so you can see my resolution here is 7680 by 4320, which is obviously 8K. I'll be doing it native at first, but we're probably going to have to use some of the upscaling as well, which we'll check in a little bit. Graphics-wise, I'm going to play with everything maxed out at first, so we've got everything set to either ultra or high. You can see all these settings here. So let's have a look at that. Right, so you'd obviously wouldn't expect particularly amazing frame rate at 8K. Not many games can really even do it at 60, so obviously straight out the bat on a brand new game, not expecting anything crazy, but it looks like we're just about holding 30 FPS here. We've got an average of 35, it's dipping in between 30 and 35 really. So I'll have a little look around and see how it holds up in some combat. I expect it to maybe drop a little bit FPS wise, but I'm noticing a slight difference between, I would say, 4K and 8K here, mostly on the kind of grass and stuff, like the rocks kind of just look a little bit sharper than what they would look like at 4K. Definitely varies from game to game, depending on if there's a difference between 4K and 8K really. But the frame time looks a little bit choppier than what it would be at 4K, but it doesn't look too bad. 0.1% low, 25. It's pretty good. Overall, the game still performs relatively decent. But having a look at our VRAM, significantly higher than 4K. I think at 4K we're running at about 8 gigs, so it's almost twice as much. Obviously, still not an issue for the 4090 because we've got 24. But I've definitely at 8K seen it hit 24 gigs of VRAM before, so I don't think we'll see it in this game. I think it'll probably hover maybe around the 16-ish area, so not bad. This game overall, though, isn't really too heavy on the VRAM. So even in the shooting here, dipping down to about 31, but still holding the 30 FPS, it's definitely noticeably harder to shoot here at 30 FPS compared to what I'm used to. Dips a little bit to 30, but it still holds 30 FPS. Not seen it dip any lower than that as of yet. I expect there's probably one or two areas you'd maybe see 28, 29. Definitely wouldn't recommend obviously playing with 30 FPS. This is more just out of curiosity to see roughly where we're at in terms of pushing the 4090 to its absolute limit, you know. Pretty impressive that it can actually, it is, you know, doable. It is actually doable, which definitely some games in 8K aren't doable at all. So I thought I'd just have a quick look at one of these robot missions as well, because I've noticed they can be a little bit more demanding than the other missions. Just to see what kind of performance we're getting on this as well compared to the other. Seems at the moment, it seems fairly similar, doesn't it? It's not too different. 33, 34, average. That was terrifying. I'm trying to get a, I was going to say, I'm trying to get a napalm down there as well. Where are they coming behind me then? Are they still all landed down there? Where's this one come from behind me? Oh god. Bring the airstrike in, quick! There it is. Lifesaver. How did that one not get that one? I'm now going to take a look with the upscaling set to quality, so you can see we've got that here. So it's looking like, with quality, we're just under 60 FPS here. Not quite hitting 60, so going to probably still be some dips down there. You're seeing it there, 55. So there's going to be some heavy combat areas. I think maybe it even dips closer to the 50 area. So we can't quite stay consistently at 60 with this, but obviously a lot better than what we had at native. 10 to 20 FPS more. So a lot nicer. And it looks like it's brought our VRAM down by about 3 gig, roughly. We were at about almost 16, I think 15.9, so about 3 gig. And power as well, looks like it's no longer above 400, staying up under 400. So that's come down a little bit as well. Even at quality here, we're probably, I think probably rendering it around about 4K and upscaling to 8K. Obviously, we have ultra quality preset on this, which I would guess is probably more like 5K or just over 5K rendering. So this would be probably closer to 4K. So quality-wise, I'd say it's not quite as crisp as what it would be at 8K native, but it's not too bad. Right, so I'm now going to have a look with the upscaling set to balanced, so you can see that here. We're breaking 60 at least at balanced in this area. I did just see 61 FPS though, so I would guess in some of the really dense combat areas with explosions and stuff going on, it's potentially going to drop under 60. I need to call in a resupply. Hold on, we've got 2.5 minutes. Did they just call one? They just call one and use it all. I've pretty much got no ammo. So we seem to mostly be holding that 60. Average of 64 at the moment, down to 61 there. It might just about hold it. That guy's just been splattered by the... Wait, that guy got splattered by a reinforcement. That's a bit silly. Don't go underneath it. Don't go underneath it. And having a look at our GPU power as well, that's even come down a little bit. Obviously, the more you go down on the upscaling presets, the more it's taking load off the GPU, really, putting it onto the CPU. So, seeing the CPU usage go up quite a bit. From 8K native, we had about 6-7%. Now we're pretty much 3 times that, 21%. So, you'll notice GPU power and stuff will come down a bit. It's at like 380 now, so it's probably down by about 10-15 watts. What we had at quality upscaling. And even VRAM's down under 12.5 gig now, so it was closer to 13. I'm now going to take a look with the upscaling set to ultra performance. You can see that here. Right, so I thought I'd take a look at this to see what the most FPS we can get is. Seems like we're just about under 100. Pushing over 100 a little bit. I obviously wouldn't recommend playing with these settings. Really, if you're going to drop down the upscaling this much, you'd be better off just dropping your resolution to 4K and playing it with a higher quality image. You wouldn't be ruining the image so much. Although it doesn't actually look that bad. Ultra performance definitely looks a lot worse if I was playing at 4K. So the image definitely looks a lot more blurry than it would do at 8K native, even like 8K balanced. But it doesn't look... I've definitely seen worse. Obviously, though, like I was saying earlier, it has increased the CPU usage even more, so we've gone up from 20% to now above 30%. And then that, of course, brings the GPU stats down, so power's down under 350, VRAM's down more. But overall, holding roughly about 100, average 98. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure to drop a like on the video. Let me know in the comments what you think of the 8K performance, and I'll catch you in the next one.